There are few debates as great as the tried and true battle of fuel types. In fact, I would go on record to say that it probably makes people more heated than the good old iPhone versus Android debate. And that's really saying something. I mean, it's worse than the game of Monopoly. Friendships will be ruined.
Check this out. It's supposed to be stretch time pregame, but Adrian Gonzalez found some of the boxing gloves they had laying over there and getting in a little bout.
P.S. iOS for the win. Sorry, I'm not sorry. Anywho, in this mono-a-mono battle of truck engines, who comes out on top? I'm Dustin with the Custom Offsets. You can find me at dusty.co on the old Instagram, and today we're swimming through the countless pages of comments to have a quick little chat and find out, are diesel engines overrated? Let's get it. In the meantime, if you wanted to check out what setups other guys are running on their trucks, you can do so at customoffsets.com/gallery. It's actually pretty simple. You just plug your year, make, and model in there, and it'll show you all sorts of trucks just like yours on all sorts of different wheel, tire, and suspension setups. It's actually how I got the vision for the LBZ. I went in the gallery, found a couple I liked, bingo, bango, bongo, wheels, tires, suspension ordered. Plus, if you find a setup that you like, we've got it all linked up, so all you gotta do is click the link. It'll take you right to the product page. You can buy it right there. It's pretty slick if you ask me. Now, in order to really dive into what makes one engine better than the other, it's important to understand exactly how each of these engines works. Otherwise, you're just kind of shooting in the dark. Anyway, while there were several inventors that laid the groundwork for the gasoline engine, it wasn't until 1879 that the principle of an internal combustion engine really exploded. See what I did there? Exploded. Dad jokes. Anyway, in 1879, a guy by the name of Carl Benz was granted a patent for a two-stroke gasoline-powered engine that was loosely based off the design of Nicholas Otto, who designed the engine a few years earlier. While his two-stroke engine design never really took off, it set the stage for Benz to also patent a four-stroke gasoline engine later that year. This four-stroke gasoline internal combustion engine would go on to be the very first gas engine in production and ultimately powered the very first cars to be ever made. The dude literally set the stage for the automotive world. How crazy is that to think about? A gasoline engine works by having a fixed cylinder with a moving piston. As the intake valve opens, the piston is drawn downwards, creating a vacuum in the cylinder and drawing both air and fuel into the cylinder. The air and fuel are mixed in that cylinder and then compressed as the piston pushes back upwards. Once the piston reaches top dead center, or the highest point that the piston will actually reach in the cylinder, the spark plug creates a little sparky boy, which ignites the gasoline and fuel mixture and creates a small explosion inside of the cylinder walls. This explosion pushes the piston downwards, causing the crankshaft to turn and ultimately creating the power to the flywheel, which is transferred through your transmission and ends up at the rear wheels in the form of big smoky burnouts, because everybody loves burnouts. The piston then returns back to top dead center, pushing out the exhaust gases through the exhaust valves that are open and clearing the cylinder, essentially resetting it for the next ignition cycle. This ignition cycle is often referred to as suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Right, that was awkward. While the method of fuel delivery has changed over the years from carburetors to throttle body injection to the fuel injection systems of today, this four-stroke ignition cycle really hasn't changed much. Even the little rotary Dorito boy still suck, squeeze, bang, blow. It's a real thing. On the flip side of the coin, we have the diesel engine. The diesel engine gets its name from, get this, Mr. Rudolf Diesel. Born in Paris, France in 1958, Rudolf Diesel invented the diesel engine in a time where steam power was actually ruling the world. It was literally a generation where people would coal fire a little boiler and then it would blow steam up and it would push pistons. It's some really weird stuff. We did some weird things back in the day. In 1885, Rudolph set up his first shop in Paris, France to develop a compression ignition engine. See, Rudolph believed that rather than creating a spark in the cylinder, if you put the air and fuel mixture under enough pressure, it would actually explode, much like a teenager after their parents try to tell them how to live their life. No, Mom, I'm not going to clean up my room before I go to this Walmart meet tonight. Gah! This process of developing a compression-fired engine would take Rudolf Diesel 13 long, hard, arduous years until the mid-1890s, when Diesel would receive several patents for his invention. Unlike the gasoline engines of earlier years, Diesel had found a way to invent an efficient, slow-burning, compression-fired internal combustion engine. It's a mouthful. By 1893, Diesel had built a prototype which was unsuccessful, and while this first prototype was a pretty big flop, it spearheaded the development of a series of improvements that eventually led to a successful compression-fired engine. February 17th of 1897, Diesel successfully demonstrated his all-new super-efficient engine. This engine was proven to be significantly more efficient at approximately 26% total efficiency versus the roughly 10% efficiency that steam engines were putting out at the time. So how did diesel engines work, you may ask? Great question. Unlike a gasoline engine, a diesel engine has no spark plugs of any kind. This means that the engine does not actually create a spark to burn the fuel. Instead, diesel engines work by compressing the air inside of the cylinder to a higher compression pressure than that of a gasoline engine. This compression causes the air molecules in the cylinder to actually rub up against each other and create friction, which ultimately creates heat. This heat is what actually ignites the diesel fuel that's mixed with the air in the cylinder, causing a slow burn. Now this burn is what's going to actually push that piston downwards, which rotates the crankshaft and then goes through the flywheel and the transmission and ultimately ends up as big smoky burnouts, just like we talked about. Oh my God, I almost forgot to tell you guys. You guys know that we love to give back to our community, which is why we're super pumped to announce that we've again teamed up with 9 Line Apparel to raise some money for none other than the 9 Line Foundation. In case you're not familiar, the 9 Line Foundation is a charity dedicated to helping critically wounded veterans get back into everyday life. They do super cool stuff like build tiny home villages for wounded vets, build aquaponics training facilities to teach guys to get back into life in Georgia, and all sorts of other cool stuff like that. Joining us in this give back effort are the rock stars over at Anthem Wheels and Mickey Thompson Tires. Best part is, by picking up a t-shirt just like this one and helping us make a donation, you're also getting entered to win a free set of Anthem wheels and a free set of Mickey Thompson tires, shipped right to your door, and we'll even throw in the Mountain Balance free of charge. For free! All you gotta do is head on over to customoffsets.com/giveaway and pick up one of these super awesome Don't Tread on Me shirts to get entered. They're really sweet. There's like 4 different colors. There's a long sleeve option. There's a front. There's the back. They look pretty cool. I like it. So now that we understand how each engine works, where does a gas engine win? Well, for starters, diesel engines hate the cold. Like, they hate it. Because there's no spark plugs, a cold diesel engine can actually cause a no-start issue because the cylinder walls are too cold to allow the fuel in the cylinder to actually burn. This is why you often hear diesels spitting and sputtering if you leave them unplugged during the winter, as the truck is actually only running off of a few cylinders. Additionally, diesel fuels are much more prone to gelling in the cold, which is when water molecules in the diesel fuel actually crystallize in the cold temperatures, making it impossible for the diesel fuel to flow through the injection system. Outside of the cold temperatures, gasoline engines are better designed for shorter trips, meaning that if you're driving in a lot of stop-and-go traffic, or if you're bouncing around in the city, a gas engine may be a better option for you than a diesel pickup. On the flip side of that, if towing is the name of the game for you, a diesel is definitely a solid choice, simply due to the torque that a diesel engine provides. Personally, I didn't really think this made that big of a difference until I bought my LBZ. It's extremely nice to be on the highway at 70 miles an hour with a loaded trailer behind you, and if there's a car in the slow lane, you just kind of step the old throttle pedal down and you're almost instantly in the torque band, and you just go screaming by them. Additionally, as a general rule of thumb, a diesel engine is going to be built much heavier, meaning that they're going to typically last longer than their gas counterparts. Typically, and I say typically because I know someone's gonna be in the comments with a 300,000 mile F-150, but typically gas trucks usually only hold up to about 250 to 275,000 miles, while it's not uncommon to see a diesel go 300,000 or more. Hell, I've even seen some ridiculous cases of OBS power strokes clicking over 500,000 miles or more. On top of that, and again, we're making a bit of a generalization here, but diesel trucks tend to get better fuel economy, mostly due to the lower engine RPM that they operate at. At the end of the day though, here's the question: are diesel engines overhyped? What do you guys think? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Let us know down in the comments section below. And also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with the awesome custom offsets content you've come to love from us. Peace.